Are you an undergrad trying to get your degree? Maybe you just finally graduated. Congratulations, Zoom University classes. Or just looking to get into a physical therapy program. This video is for you. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I'm Logan and welcome to Muscle Memory. Today, I'm bringing you three tips of how to get into physical therapy programs. My first tip, this is going to be mainly for people that are still in undergrad or completing a degree. For you especially, it is very important to, first of all, finish your prereqs. So any prerequisites you need to get into a physical therapy program. So that's your chemistry, bios, a lot of your sciences. There is some colleges, especially mine at Widener, they look at your cumulative GPA, but then they also look at your science-based GPA. They look at the prerequisites and get a GPA from those. Second point is to not just go through college just to get through. So if you're trying to get into a healthcare field, get some electives that make sense for that particular area. So for me, I took an additional nutrition class and then also took a business class. Now a lot of you are like, why are you taking business? My goal, as I also become a physical therapist, is to potentially open up my own practice. And having no business and financial background in college or in high school, I thought it would be something to at least get my feet in the door to start understanding the business aspects of everything. For you, try to look into different things. So obviously, like I said, nutrition, looking to see if there's an exercise or kinesiology class that you can take. Look into other areas that you're interested in that you can potentially bring into the PT field. So take a psychology class, learn how to communicate, public speaking, figure out things that you could utilize in another class and bring to the PT field. All right, tip number 2, doing your own research. So do not ask mom, do not reach out to anyone else to do it for you. This is your own work. That means going and looking at the school. You can visit it, look online and research online about it. Look at the professors or the teachers. I wanted to make sure that there was teachers and professors that were still in practice. Okay, that meaning that they're teaching, but then they're also, when they have time, they're in their own clinics working and getting that clinical experience. And the biggest thing that's gonna stick out is looking at their board's certification passing rate, because it should be above a 95%. Another thing to look at is make sure, and I'm gonna say it again, make sure it's an accredited institution. That being said, there has been times where certain schools, even some that I've applied to, were not accredited at the time when I applied, but became accredited later down the road. It's a very risky situation though, because if they don't get accredited, you can run into the issue of not being able to take an exam or actually become a therapist. And finally, one last thing for research is looking into what type of PT program it is. Are you going to be more clinical based or do you want to be more research based? Me, I wanted a more clinical based experience. I went to Widener, where we have our own pro bono clinic, which means it's run by the students ourselves, and then we have a couple of the professors observing and watching over us. We have patients come in, we actually take them through a typical treatment session, we eval them, we do all the stuff. We'll just have a supervisor or trained physical therapist in the room watching us, making sure we're doing everything correctly. It's a great experience because we're able to take what we've learned in the classroom and be able to apply it in the clinic. On the other hand, if you're into more research-based school, you can be with a professor that's also teaching, but then they may also have a research project that they're currently working on. So you will be able to get into the more science-based aspect of physical therapy. So if you're very into laboratory stuff, science work, writing in big journal articles and whatnot, that's a great opportunity for you but you need to make sure you do your research and figure out what type of university is going to offer that. And finally, tip number 3. This one is all about doing your extracurricular stuff. What are you doing to better prepare yourself for the PT program? One thing for me is to get a lot of volunteer work. I know a couple physical therapy programs, you need a certain amount of hours, volunteer hours in a clinic, inpatient, outpatient. I highly recommend, even if the ones you're looking to apply to don't need volunteer hours, I highly recommend just getting into a clinic, because you need to realize this is an additional 3 years of schooling you're going for. It's not cheap. It is a big investment on yourself. So you need to make sure that it's definitely the investment you want to make. So an additional part to that is also looking into the school and if you need to take GREs. Some schools require it, some schools don't. I understand it's not fun to have to study for another test, and this type of test is what I've told people is like the SAT on steroids. You need to prepare yourself and make sure you're studying, maybe gathering a book, getting a book, or using study material online. They just don't want your GRE score. They have a certain number they want you to get above. And I've had professors and stuff when I've gone on interviews pretty much tell me that if your GRE score isn't at a certain point, they literally just chuck your resume. Because they have so many applications coming in, they just want to make sure that they have the best of the best. Just like that, that is my 3 tips of getting into hopefully any PT program that you desire. My biggest takeaway for you guys from this video is to just be better prepared. I want you to be prepared for a graduate program. It is not easy to get into. For me, I'm blessed that I was able to just transition from senior year and graduating college to going right into a program. There are friends, classmates, and people I've worked with that have taken a couple years off because they weren't able to get into a program their first time, or their second time, or their third time. So these people had to take a couple of years off before they got accepted and then could continue. What I've noticed, they fit right in with everyone else. They don't struggle because they have the willpower to keep on continuing and succeeding in what their dreams are, becoming a physical therapist. If you don't get in, look into working as a physical therapy aide. Get yourself involved and into the physical therapy area. Go to clinics, volunteer, do what you gotta do to make your resume a lot better than someone else's. So with that, I hope you guys truly enjoyed this video. If you have a friend or anyone else that you think may be interested in this particular video, be sure to share it. Follow my Instagram, it's in my link below. And with that, I hope you guys will have a wonderful day and enjoy the life you live. Muscle Memory out.